Welcome back to my channel for what very well might be the last collection tour in this room, because as you guys can see, I have basically used all of my space that I have right now. I've curated my collection with only some of the best figures I have and the best statues to make what I'm happy with saying is probably my best display that I've shown so far, as it should be, because, you know, I've been collecting for like 4 or 5 years now. So without further ado, let's just jump right into it. And as always, we're gonna start with, you know what? We're gonna start not with the Star Wars, we're gonna start over here. This is the Paul Atreides from Dune Part 2 by Prime 1 Studios. I have the Ultimate Edition, I think they call it. It comes with the Sandworm Thumper right there. And then the Muad'Dib, the little desert mouse. I think this statue is incredible. The base itself, so detailed. I love how it's like raised. And then, of course, you have Paul Atreides, which the portrait, the likeness is like uncanny. And then I have a Dune Part 2 poster behind from, I think that's Displayed. And then, yeah, this statue looks incredible. I have 2 lights. I just got these from Amazon. I would like to mount these, but as of right now, they're just kind of sitting and then kind of giving that, look at the shadow right there. I think that looks pretty cool. Opening up the first display case, these both are Detolfs from IKEA. They no longer sell these. So I moved to this display case, which I'll get into. But these, for the time, were like the best you can get for the price. I think they were like $90 a piece, so really not that bad. And then this down here is a custom wooden riser I got from eBay. I'll also put the link to that down below if you're interested, which I think really does add a lot to the Detolf, because otherwise it's just on the floor. So this is the Star Wars display. Of course, we've got the Lego Millennium Falcon up there. And then with the Hot Toys in the first shelf, I have the new Chewbacca from Empire Strikes Back. I think this Chewbacca is by far the best that they've done. Not even close. It's maybe not perfect because, you know, you got like, his teeth are a little strange. I don't know if that's how it looks in the movie. I don't think so. But besides that, like the actual, like the fur is like crazy good. And then C-3PO on the back, because this is the special edition, I believe. Boba Fett back there, also Empire Strikes Back. That's probably one of my older figures that I still have. And then this is the Luke Skywalker, also Empire Strikes Back, of course, Bespin. And I have never changed the pose of this figure since I got it, I think a couple years ago, because it's just kind of perfect the way it is. I love the base as well. This lights up, but I don't have USB going in this display case, so. Down here, we have some Clone Wars. This is my Clone Wars movie display, or season 1 of the show. We have Plo Koon in the Clone Wars armor. It includes those little gauntlet pieces. And then we have Captain Rex, also Clone Wars Phase 1. And then Ahsoka from the movie, but also, I think, season 1, maybe even season 2 of the show. But this figure is probably one of my rarest now because they don't make this anymore. They completely stopped selling it. This figure actually includes Jabba's son. I forget his name. He was in the new movie. It's kind of goofy, but it's got that early Clone Wars, like George Lucas kind of like charm to it. And it's very nostalgic because this is like one of the first Star Wars movies I've seen, even though it's probably the worst. Then down below, we have Return of the Jedi with Luke Skywalker. This is actually the Mandalorian version, but the design is similar enough to where I have him paired with the Vader from Return of the Jedi, and this is definitely one of the best Vader figures that they've done. And then on the bottom, we have Mandalorian with some Ahsoka figures back there, and then Bo-Katan, which is one of my favorite figures, actually. I think that design is really nice. Moving on to the next display case, we mostly have Revenge of the Sith and a little bit of Clone Wars. So up top, we have one of my favorite, if not, I would probably say this is my favorite Star Wars figure. This is Anakin Skywalker Artisan Edition. So it has the, I think they call it the wool implanted hair. Something crazy, but it is the most detailed Anakin Skywalker that they have ever done. And I think it is the best, even more so than the dark side version, which I'll get to a little bit later. And then we have Obi-Wan Kenobi, also Revenge of the Sith. I just copied the pose here from some promotional material from Revenge of the Sith, and I think I did a pretty good job. And this is the Clone Wars head sculpt on the Revenge of the Sith figure body, because the original head sculpt I do not think looked very good at all. That's an older figure. And then I actually have the base signed by Ewan McGregor, which I had signed at Star Wars Celebration in California. And then we have Yoda from Attack of the Clones. I will be getting the Revenge of the Sith Yoda when that does release. And then R2 kind of in the back there, you can barely see him. Again, I'm working with limited space here. This is the best I can do. And then we have Darth Maul from Clone Wars. Again, this is actually the newer head sculpt from Phantom Menace, and I have it on the Clone Wars body, and I just think this makes it look so much better. This Savaja press is definitely one of the best Star Wars figures released this year. The head sculpt is crazy good for being an animated figure. They did an incredible job bringing this to life. Speaking of best Star Wars figures, I think from a technical standpoint, this might be the most impressive. This is the General Grievous Revenge of the Sith, of course. This pose, I don't think I will change this for a long time, and in my next display or whatever, I'm probably going to do the same pose because I think it really looks good, cool for the character. I think it really fits the character as well. We've got his fine addition to his collection right there. And then the head sculpt. And then, of course, just with the robe and everything, I think this figure looks absolutely incredible. Down here, we have the Star Wars Celebration Japan exclusive Stormtrooper Cherry Blossom. I do have the backdrop from that because I did get that from the convention, but I don't have it. It doesn't fit in here right now. And then this is Empire Strikes Back Luke again. I cannot fit him in the other display, so he's down here. And then we have C-3PO from, I think that's Attack of the Clones. Moving right along, this is definitely the most impressive Prime 1 statue I have. Statue in general being the Attack on Titan, first statue that they've made. I know at this point they've made Levi, they've made, I think the Titans, I think they even made like a rumbling statue. This is still my favorite. It was very expensive and it is long sold out, but I am very happy that I got this. The amount going on, like the amount of detail and just visual interest, things to look at, like this is an incredible statue. Not to mention how big it is. It is huge. So next to that, we have Ellie from The Last of Us Part 2. I really want The Last of Us Part 1 statue as well. I don't have room for it right now, obviously. But Last of Us Part 2, I think this fits very well right here. One of my favorite games. Not as good as the first one, but still very good. This is going to be my Dark Knight display, which once I can get this like in a proper display case with some good lighting, will probably be one of my favorite displays. But right now, it's sitting here. We have Bane from Dark Knight Rises, one of the best Hot Toys Dark Knight figures, one of the best recent Hot Toys figures in general. This one's going for a ton on the aftermarket because they just completely like nailed this figure. This is the InArt Joker, the first figure from InArt that they've ever made. Still holds up, but it cannot compete, of course, with the J&D Joker. I mean, just look at that little smirk right there with the teeth. I mean, that is like scary right there. And then, of course, it comes with the dogs from the Dark Knight. And I really like the display base. It's simple, but I feel like it works for this figure. And then we have, this is the Bruce Wayne Armory, Batman. I have the Batman suit actually in the Armory. Now you can like remove it and have it as its own figure, but I think it looks way better like this. And then I have the lighting set up here, which you have to. I think for the armor, you have to have the lighting. And then moving up here on the top of this shelf, we have a Spider-Man 1, 2, 3 kind of display with Black Suit Peter right there from Spider-Man 3. And then you have Green Goblin from Spider-Man 1, or that is technically the No Way Home version. It wasn't labeled as Spider-Man 1. And then you have Doc Ock, again from No Way Home. Now this is where the fun begins. This right here is the movie kind of variety hour shelf. I'll call it that, because there really is no through line. We have Joker. I kind of broke the button on his little vest there. I don't know if you can tell. I had to super glue it, but I think, even so, this figure is just so impressive from Hot Toys. The wrists are completely seamless, so it doesn't even really look like a figure. It just kind of looks like a really high-end statue. And then, of course, the J&D regular version of the Joker with the non-smiling sculpt. This is definitively the best figure in my entire collection. So for those of you curious, this was $1,000. So by far the most expensive single figure, but you can just kind of see where the detail and the craftsmanship like really pays off. They put everything into this figure. The hair, the silicone and stuff, it's just crazy realistic. And again, we have the normal version and I have the smiling version because of how good it is. And it's just absolutely incredible. And then this is Paul Atreides again, actually a figure this time from InArt Collectibles from Dune Part 1. So this is not Dune Part 2, this is Dune Part 1. And I have custom eyes in there. I forget where I got those, but I have custom blue eyes. I kind of wanted to go for the Part 2 look, but then I ended up getting the Prime 1 statue, so I'm happy with how this figure came out. But yeah, this is one of InArt's best. Again, from InArt, we have the Batman. I mean, they just really don't miss. This is just an incredible figure. There's a non-cowl head sculpt of Robert Pattinson that also comes with it. I don't have it on right now, but it's equally as impressive. We've got the little note right there, the Riddler letter. But yeah, it's just awesome. This is my MCU phase, I'll say 1, 2, 3, I think, shelf. But these are just like all original kind of MCU characters. We've got Iron Man 2, Tony Stark there, one of the best Iron Man suits, I think. And then Black Widow from also Iron Man 2. And then we have War Machine, and then also Iron Man Mark V. This is all Iron Man 2. Probably the best head sculpt on an artisan figure, if I had to say, because I do have quite a few. This and the Anakin, I think, are kind of tied up. I would probably give it to the Black Widow. I think this is slightly more impressive. And then we have Captain America Winter Soldier. That head sculpt is also very good. It looks so much better in person. The photos look good, but I'm just looking at it here, and it does look exactly like Chris Evans. And then you got the suit there. Also, these bases are magnetic. I wish Hot Toys did all of them this way, because these are very good bases. This is Iron Man 3, one of their newer Iron Man figures that has full LED light up powered by USB. Unfortunately, I don't have USB in these shelves, but if I did, it would look pretty cool. It already looks, nice how it is. You got the battle damaged look there. That head sculpt, of course, very impressive. Iron Man 3, I don't think it's a bad movie. I think it's pretty good. And then here we have a No Way Home display. The 3 Spider-Man, of course, you gotta have them. The Tobey Maguire one, I don't think it's one of their best works. I think this figure could have been so much better if it wants to focus back there. It's not bad. I just feel like the proportions, it just doesn't look as good as it should. The Tom Holland one, pretty good. And then the Andrew Garfield one, pretty good. Maybe could have been better, but I don't have any big issues with that figure. And then we have, like I said, of course, Green Goblin with that crazy good sculpt. He is ready to get down to business. He's ready. But yeah, this is the No Way Home version. Very cool. I like it quite a bit. Look at his little bag there. He is ready to go goblining. It's goblin time. This right here is what we need more of from Hot Toys. These are the Arcane figures from the Netflix show from League of Legends, inspired by League of Legends. I've never played the game, but I watched the show multiple times, and it is incredible. One of the best shows I have seen just in general. So this is the Vi, incredible, season 2. And then this is the Jinx from season 1 and I guess season 2, if you kind of count the earlier episodes or flashbacks or anything. But both of these, so good. They pair perfectly together. I hope Hot Toys does more, not original, but just things that aren't Marvel or Star Wars, because we need more of these. I mean, they just completely nailed both of the looks here. I mean, they look like they just came right out of the show. And now moving down to the shelf I completed most recently, which is going to be my Infinity War and Endgame display. And this is the Endgame Captain America with the Winter Soldier sculpt on it, which is basically the same as the Endgame version. It's newer, so it's updated. It looks a lot more accurate. This is the Infinity War Thanos, which I got recently for about half of what it was when it came out. So I got a good price on this. And I do think I like it better than the Endgame version. Obviously this looks cool. It has a better base with the battle damaged armor and everything, but something about the smirk on this guy, he just looks devious, and I think that Infinity War is the better movie, so I really do think this is the better figure out of the two. Also, one of my most recent additions is the Spider-Man here from Infinity War Endgame. This is the Iron Spider. This is the best Spider-Man head sculpt, Tom Holland, that they have ever done. This is obviously artisan, so it was not cheap. I do think this one was more expensive than it should have been. I think it was like $480 or something, which for a Spider-Man I just think is ridiculous. But this is the only version worth getting of Iron Spider, because the last one I don't think was very good at all. And then Scarlet Witch, again from Infinity War or Endgame, either way. This is the Artisan Edition. I try to get the Artisan figures. I feel like generally speaking they are better, and I would rather just get the best version than, you know, something that I'm not as happy with and I end up getting an upgraded version down the line. At least with these, they hold their value a little bit better, I think, and I'll have them for a lot longer. And here is another Prime 1 statue. This is the first one I ever received, which is the Doomslayer from Doom Eternal. Incredible statue, of course. This is the biggest statue I have. It needs its own podium here because of how massive it is, but the detail is everything that you would expect. You can actually see the head sculpt inside of the mask there. The shotgun, which is the size of, basically the size of an actual gun. I mean, this is like ridiculous. And then over on my desk, the lighting isn't as good over here, but I do have Deadpool and Wolverine. The Wolverine is superior to the Deadpool by quite a large margin. I mean, this figure is near perfect, I think so. And then this is the battle damaged Deadpool from the Deadpool and Wolverine movie. And then on top of my PC here, we have the Scorched Xenomorph. This came out earlier this year, I believe, and I do think this is the figure of the year, without a doubt. No complaints on this. This thing is absolutely incredible. I need to play Alien Isolation now, and I did pre-order the other Alien Big Chap from the first Alien movie, just because of how good this is. It's just absolutely incredible. And now lastly, we got some more Star Wars. So we got some lightsabers right here. And then for the figures, this is Darth Vader and Starkiller from the Force Unleashed game. You can kind of see him. I really like all the different zones of lighting in these cases, except I only really end up using like the front two, because anything else just is too much, or it just not enough. I just feel like this is the only configuration I'm going to use. But we have Darkside Anakin, Star Wars Celebration exclusive. This is releasing on Sideshow. I think you can pre-order it, or you could have been able to pre-order it. It's probably sold out by now. Very good. I do think the other Anakin is better. And then right next to him is Padme from Attack of the Clones. They should make a Revenge of the Sith Padme. And so that is it. This is the final form of my collection. I know I said in the last video that it was complete, but now it is truly complete. It is truly, you know, I'm using as much of the space that I have available to kind of curate and display my figures. And so that is it, guys. The possible finale, I'm going to have more collection tours, I'm sure, but probably in a completely different space. I don't know if I'm going to get modu cases or what kind of display I'm going to use. I am happy with the Detolfs. You know, they serve me well right now. So I don't know, we'll see what it looks like. But for now, this is the collection, and hope you guys enjoyed. And that's about it.